Bitcoin's an extraordinary opportunity, and we can increase the size of our balance sheet, and we can do some interesting things like issue convertible debt. Transactions. So the software business has been run by Phong, who is the president of the company for the past few years. And that's 99% of the transaction and the labor of the company. And it makes sense for the CEO of the company to be the person that's running 99% of the business. So that's the labor intensive part of the business. And the plan has always been for Phong to be the CEO of that. I've been grooming him for that job since about 2018. And after about 2 years in the president role, we decided it made sense to make him the CEO. My role is as chairman and as executive chairman. I'm still a full-time employee of the company, but I focus upon the Bitcoin part of the business. And so that means once a quarter, we may do a finance transaction, or we may do a Bitcoin acquisition transaction. And those things are managed by the investments committee of the board of directors. And I'm the head of the investments committee. And of course, as the chairman of the board, I'm in charge of the board of directors. And I remain the controlling shareholder of the company. So my role is primarily to focus upon the balance sheet and the strategy. I do some operational work now focused upon some Lightning development that we've been working on. So I'm focused upon the Bitcoin side of the software business and finance transactions and Bitcoin. But Phong really is running the software business, and this is it's a good career step for him to do that. And it makes room for our new CFO, Andrew Kang, who joined the company in May. The CFO in April was Phong. So Phong moved back in like August of 2020. The company had an enterprise value of approximately $660 million, and didn't really have any active investments. And now the enterprise value of the company has ballooned by a factor of not quite 10, but many, many, many billions of dollars. And we have a much more sophisticated balance sheet where we have convertible debt, and we have senior secured debt, and we have a Bitcoin-backed loan, and we have other financing opportunities and activities. So it makes sense to have a CFO that's full-time and dedicated. And Phong really couldn't be that dedicated CFO because he was also serving as the president of the company. So what we've done is, I think, matured as a business, and it allows us to move forward and more aggressively pursue the software business, as well as more aggressively pursue the Bitcoin strategy. Well, yeah, my enthusiasm right now is for Lightning development. I really think the most exciting thing going on in the world of technology is the Lightning protocol. The ability to move Bitcoin, at the speed of light, friction-free, no transaction or de minimis transaction cost. And the appeal of Lightning is not just that you could scale up Bitcoin to billions of people, and it's not just that you can drive the transaction cost to near nothing, but also the ethos of Bitcoin is go very carefully and don't move fast on the base layer without universal consensus. But in Lightning, you can move much more aggressively, developing functionality, and you can take more risks with the Lightning protocol, and you can take more risks with the applications that are on top of Lightning, and build more functionality and build more performance than you can in the underlying Bitcoin layer. So MicroStrategy's got some R&D projects going on right now where we're working on enterprise applications of Lightning. Enterprise Lightning wallets, enterprise Lightning servers, enterprise authentication, things that would Yeah, things that would appeal to a company. If you wanted to roll out Lightning to 100,000 employees in a day, right? How would you do it? If you wanted to give a Lightning wallet to 10 million customers overnight, how would you do it? And we've got a lot of enterprise development capability in that area because we've been doing enterprise software for 30 years. And so we're working to marry our enterprise software development with the Lightning opportunity. It's still, I would characterize it as R&D stage. It's still early days because we need to see, what comes out of it, what products evolve, and whether they're commercially viable and how it will be received by the market. So I'm not really ready to announce anything more concrete than that, but I do think that the future of the Bitcoin network, all the future technology innovation is Lightning based, and anybody that can actually develop software applications that integrate with a Lightning protocol has an extraordinary opportunity. That's where I'd be focusing my venture capital and my investment right now. It was a defensive strategy. We were trying to avoid getting destroyed by the inflation that was coming. And we realized that we couldn't just sit with $500 million of cash on the balance sheet. So the first view was, how do we avoid having our treasury assets melt away in a market that's just getting increasingly difficult and hostile? I think that the second stage was opportunistic. Bitcoin's an extraordinary opportunity, and we can increase the size of our balance sheet, and we can do some interesting things like issue convertible debt in order to acquire Bitcoin, and we can build up an interesting business that we didn't really know was there before. I think the third stage is really strategic, right? The Bitcoin strategy. We're going to acquire and hold Bitcoin, consistently, aggressively, whenever we see an opportunity that makes sense for the shareholders. So that's the corporate evolution. I would say, from a personal philosophical point of view, I started looking for a better gold than gold, a digital gold, a store of value. And I would say that's like, I describe different types of investors. You've got the deniers, people don't believe that Bitcoin is real. You've got the skeptics, people that, just don't think it's going to work. They think the government's going to ban it. And then you've got the traders who think it's an uncorrelated asset or it's a correlated asset. I would say I came in as a trader. This is an uncorrelated asset, and it doesn't make sense to invest the company's treasuries in the stock market, or invest the company's treasuries in art collections, or invest the company in real estate. So here's an asset that it makes sense to invest in. I think that's stage 3. Stage 4 is to be a technocrat. That's when you say, oh, this is a digital monetary asset, and it's a digital monetary network, and I can use it to move money on a Saturday morning. How do you move $100 million on a Saturday morning from London to Tokyo, right? How do I put money on an iPhone or an Android phone? And so when you become a technocrat, you start to see it as a monetary network, just like Google's an information network, or YouTube is an entertainment network, or Facebook is a social network. And so I think I kind of evolved from the trader mentality to the technocrat mentality. But if you spend enough time on Bitcoin, eventually you find your way to stage 5. And stage 5 is Bitcoin maximalist. And I define Bitcoin maximalist as someone that thinks that Bitcoin is an instrument of economic empowerment. I mean, I think Jack Dorsey stated that most eloquently and first. He said, Bitcoin is an instrument of economic empowerment. So it's not that far. You know, once you say it's a digital asset that runs on a smartphone,